Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Merciless Punishment Syn Shenron. So we're going to be taking a look at Syn Shenron, seeing just how good he is, getting a good feel for him, and yeah, just enjoying him as a unit. So Merciless Punishment Syn Shenron, GT bosses lead of 150%, greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn on his super, randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow, key +2 attack and defense of 150%, high chance of crit, high chance of additional, damage reduction of 40% for 1 turn from his entry. When attacking, he'll disable the enemy's guard, and attack and defense goes up by 50% per key sphere obtained. 2 or more key spheres obtained, he gets damage reduction of 20%, 3 or more, crit hit of 20%, 4 or more, further damage reduction of 20%, 5 or more, crit hit of 30%, which means he can have guaranteed crits, which is very good. 6 or more key spheres, a guaranteed additional, and then 7 or more, he will reduce the enemy's attack and defense by 20% for 2 turns. So pretty decent stuff. All things considered, the passive is actually really good. I really like his passive. I think it functions well for what you want it to do. I think it can be a little bit misleading because obviously he's got that high chance of additional, he's got that built-in additional, so that's already 2 additionals, and he can do sometimes like 20-30 million damage, and it can be misleading. I think like people will see that and go like, wow, why is my Syn Shenron not doing 50, 60, 70 like other units? But you have to remember that with a full additional build, this guy can do 4 supers in a turn, and all of those supers, if you get 7 orbs, are guaranteed crits. So it's 30 to 35 million, kind of crits. That's pretty good. Like that's really good. So for me, the real question is always more so like when you're looking at these units and everything. Yes, maybe the numbers look low, but how does that operate in terms of the unit? Syn Shenron starting defense about 200k. Post all of his supers and all of his, like raising attacks and everything, that gets up to being very high. And 40% damage reduction is pretty good. Remember, 40% damage reduction, but on a Mega Shenron's team, the LR's team, he is going to have like 60% damage reduction. So it's not like just so, how can I say, it's not just that he has X amount of damage and everything. It's actually going to be pretty good. So links will be down, big red bosses, GT, Fear and Faith, Shadow Dragons, Shocking Speed, Fierce Battle. He's a guy that links with Omega, Strength Omega, Physical Omega, AGL, LR Omega, Physical LR Omega, the Shadow Dragon Legion unit, and then you get some Genembers. He's on very limited categories. GT bosses, Inhuman Deed, Shadow Dragon Saga. That is 3 categories in total. It's not a lot. So when you're looking at him, you're evaluating him, remember that although he is, I think, very good, he is essentially going to function on the grand sum total of 3 teams. And there's nothing you can really do about that. Now, I do like what he brings to the table. I think also what's not mentioned enough is the fact that he has that ability to, kind of bring really strong second slot performance to a team that ultimately, needs that. But I think, if I look at him overall, I do feel like there's something missing. Like if I evaluate him, he's good damage, not great damage, good damage. Crit obviously can hit 100%, so that's great. Very solid defense post super, and then some debuffing. 2 turns is pretty good. 2 turns 20%, but it just feels like there's something missing. Not so much support. I think the team has enough of that, and I think giving him support probably would have been too much in terms of functionality. But I do think there's a little bit missing here. There's just 1 or 2 little questions about, is there something more he could have done? Maybe it is, as simple as, how can I say it, like having a guaranteed evasion, or having a conditional damage modifier, you know, like, oh, he'll do bigger damage if it's facing a certain type of enemy on top of what he currently has. I think that would have been something really good, something really functional and excellent. I think you don't need it to make him good. Like I said, I think he's an excellent unit with or without it. But I think it would have helped. It would have made him something a little bit better, made him something a little bit more, you know, more useful, if you know what I mean. Right now, I think he's good. I don't know how well he'll age. I think that's very, very, very up for debate. I think we'll have to see how his team ages as well. As long as Omega Shenron is relevant, this guy will probably still be relevant. Just like I said, because of the fact that the 2 Omega Shenrons alone will give him 60% damage reduction. And then you factor in all of his defensive raises and attack raises and everything like that. Like, he will be a top-notch unit, just whether that's for his entire existence, I don't know. And I think he probably could be replaced quite easily. Like, even now, I find myself leaning more towards the Shadow Dragon saga. If you had one more GT Bosses unit, you'd probably contemplate, using someone else. That's kind of how his position is. But at the end of the day, I think he's really good. I think he's a ton of fun to use. Being a Syn Shenron is absolutely crucial for him as well. He enables your Omega Shenrons to work. He enables your 3rd slot units to work. He enables your team to work, which I think is very important when you're factoring in everything. So I do think he's good. I do like him a lot. I think he serves his purpose. Just feels like he's a little bit off. I know link leveling would definitely help as well. Shadow Dragon Saga and Big Bad Bosses would help as well. And ignore my build here. This was before his EZA. So better off to run additionals on him with a little bit of evasion for sure. But yeah, for me, definitely I think he's a good unit. Just not necessarily at the top level that I would have really wanted. And I think that's mostly what I'm kind of focusing on here. I think really he could have just been that little bit higher hitting. And I know link leveling will help that a lot. But yeah, I think just that's the only tweak I would possibly mention. But otherwise, he's great. Great 2nd slot unit. Yes, there will be events that give him issues, AoE, etc., etc. But I think you'll find that with double Omega Shenron, he's not going to function poorly. And he's going to work, really, really well.